Okay, so this is the review that I'm making after the session, but it's going to play before it. I was thinking about the courses that I'd be selling, right? The weightlifting and the calisthenics courses that I'm going to be selling. So I was coming up with some ideas as to what I'm going to do for that, and then I started writing the book that I want to release, and in doing so I came up with the idea of sorry, I'm trying to just nope. In doing so I came up with the idea of not just recording what I do calisthenics wise, but also recording what I do weightlifting wise, because obviously recording what I do calisthenics wise has worked and has meant that I've progressed to being able to achieve the tuck hold. Now upon reflection, I'm starting to think that, wow, it was extremely obvious that I could have done the same thing for weightlifting this entire time to be able to make progress in it. Recording myself doing it has worked, but not recording myself has meant that I've just stayed at a specific level. So I'm certainly going to be recording not only what I do with calisthenics, but also my weightlifting journey now, because I know from experience with the calisthenics stuff, I've been able to make progress through recording myself consistently. I won't necessarily train weights every day so I make progress, but I'll certainly be recording my weight training when I do train weights. But in terms of progress for this session now, I have I've been able to hold it for longer. It's getting easier, but I want to stop hunching my shoulders over so that when I do the tuck hold, my back is more straight and I have more proper form as I do the tuck hold. But we'll get there in time. But I know that I'm being able to hold my tuck hold for longer, and in the video you'll see me do the tuck hold and try and get that. I try and get a full L sit. Sorry for the background noise. I try and get that full L sit, but the closest I get is an advanced tuck, which is basically the midpoint of tuck hold and L sit. That's as far as I've been able to get right now. I may have to increase my flexibility, but we'll see it as time goes on. But I'm certainly starting to see some reward in doing it. I'm seeing some progress with the tuck holds now, some obvious signs of progress which I wasn't seeing before, which is rather motivating. I'm allowing it to motivate me because now I'm starting to see progress after so long. I was feeling so frustrated, but then now I'm starting to see progress in this thing I was once frustrated in. I'm able to do it more. This thing I felt frustrated in, I'm able to do it more than I ever have been able to, which for me, just I allow myself to use that as motivation to keep me going. As Yaza said, it seems like action helps increase motivation. That wasn't what he put on this title in one of his most recent videos word for word, but that was the idea of it. And I can say from personal experience that yeah, I personally believe that that's true. In saying that, I did some more tuck hold progress, and then I also did some weightlifting. I've been watching a lot of females do squat videos, and I really believe that as a male I should be doing the same things, and that females are very trustworthy source of information in terms of how you can train your lower body, glutes, quads, hamstrings. Maybe not necessarily calves, because I haven't seen a female in the gym I go to personally have thick calves. However, the girls in the gym, or the females in the gym I should say, rather, they may be training calves quite a lot, but they just don't see muscle growth. But I'd imagine that their goals may be slightly different to mine. They might not want to have large quads because they may think that'll make them look more masculine and therefore less sexually attractive to the opposite sex as a heterosexual female. I personally don't think that's the case. I think that actually putting on muscle mass on your calves, at least to a certain extent, will make you look even more sexually attractive, because it will make you look more proportionate. If you have a big bum, big hamstrings, big quads, which make your ass look even bigger, especially your hamstrings, yeah, that's good and all, but if you look down to the calves, once you see it, you can't unsee it. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. It will just look like a mess. It will just look like you haven't actually bothered to put in effort to train completely. Again, apologies for the background noise. I'll put the phone closer here so you can hear me better. But talk about making a video with distractions, eh? I was watching this self-claimed personal trainer, qualified personal trainer and nutritionist, who's female, like middle-aged. This is a female that has really been taking care of her health, and it seemed like she genuinely did know a lot. And she was doing squat pulses, and I'm now starting to think, of course, the phrase is knowledge is power, but I also think if you know how to use it, knowledge can be sexy too. Like, really sexy. So I've been using, I think because I watched that video, then I wanted to do squat pulses myself. But I certainly will be talking to many more females in the gym about how they personally train their lower body and what works for them. I mean, the lower body is very important. You use it to walk, so I'm not just going to neglect it, because as males, we've been conditioned to want to train our abs, and they apparently are like that's the most sexually attractive tool in the toolbox. When in reality, that isn't necessarily the case. It doesn't. I personally think you cannot look sexually attractive if your abs are present. Well, although your abs are present, you look like a bag of bones. Of course, some females are going to like anything, but for me personally, I'd rather be a completely built, all-rounded individual. So that means I build muscle in all areas. So yeah, certainly in terms of like workouts, lower body workouts, I'd certainly go to females for that. But I don't know how they make their hips wide. How do they train so that their hips look wider? That I don't know. But after the session, when I was in the gym, I did some posing. I did some glute posing because I was I train legs, and I put in work on my legs. So it only makes sense that you put in work. So I was posing, right? I was glute posing, and I see like, so when I'm in the gym, I was in the locker room, and there was no one there, so it was fine. I pull my trousers down just so I can see my glutes and my hamstrings in my boxes. I keep my boxes up, and I learned how to flex. And I noticed that the middle of the seam, it looks, if you flex, if you know how to flex, the middle of the seam, when you flex, because you'd be squeezing it into together, because you'd be flexing your glutes, that seam in the middle of your boxers, if you're male, or if you or panties, depending on what you're wearing, if you're female, for example, that will create a shadow. Even with black boxers, which I'm wearing right now, even with black boxers in lighting, that will create a shadow, which will create create the illusion that your bum is bigger than it actually is. And I never knew how much detail it could go, females could be going into so that their ass looks bigger in photos. Like the posing, the seams, the contour on the gym wear, on the yoga pants, the contour around the top and the bottom of each glute. I had no idea how much thought went into that females, not only females, but gym wear companies put into making glutes look more round and plump, they call it. I'm not gonna say like even fatter. I think that's unnecessarily blunt. So I'll use those words. So yeah, they use gym wear companies like Able, for example, AYBL. They put contour around the top and the bottom of the bum for each set of yoga pants, and well, for some of them that I've seen anyway in like gym haul videos, for example. They even, one female YouTube content creator I'm thinking of in particular, Amber something, Amber G, I've forgotten her surname. No, I genuinely forgotten. She was even saying that light grey yoga pants makes the bum look so good. Like some females, it makes me think, like that's literal proof in my opinion that some females may genuinely put that much thought into making their bum look more appealing. So much thought that they all go into the colour. They all decide which colour that they're gonna wear based on how large you'll make their ass look. Just like how some guys may wear smaller t-shirts around the arms so their arms look bigger, to give the illusion that their arms look bigger. So it seems like what I've just spoken about is the female equivalent of that, which is crazy to me. I would have never known that the seam when you flex your glutes will create a shadow which gives the illusion that your bum looks more round. And you can tell if the girl or the guy is flexing, because one of the glutes will look flat as you're flexing, particularly if your hips aren't wide. If your hips aren't that wide and you don't really have all that much muscle around your hips. Yeah, it's crazy how much thought can go into making the glutes look more round and plump, and also how much thought goes into making the waistline look smaller, slimmer, not smaller, slimmer, i.e. In like clothing wear or like gym wear, the waistband would come up maybe up to here, so that it looks like it's sucking this part of the stomach in, so that the chick doesn't look so fat. Some chicks genuinely don't, and they wouldn't even without the waistband, but it's to make it look more it's to make the waistline look more slim. And I never knew that. I never knew that. It's crazy how much thought and preparation goes into it. For me, these are just bottoms that I put on, like nothing fancy. I mean, it's even partly ripped. I don't know if you can see that over here. I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, it's partly ripped. I mean, it looks like the seams could be on the way to undoing. Oh, yeah. It's very interesting to know that that's how much thought goes into it. And instead of calling it like, instead of saying, oh, how big does my bum look, they'll call it the squat proof test. They'll call it the squat proof test. How good which to me basically is just like how good does my bum look when I squat, and how comfortable does it feel? I don't think it's just about sexual attractiveness, but yeah, just wow. Just, in my opinion, just wow. This is the reality of things. Well, my perception of the reality of things. It certainly sounds like seems like I'm starting to become more aware of what's going on and how gym wear companies can try and make females look more sexually attractive and how it makes them feel. One Fitness with Ellen said in one of her videos that one type of gym clothes made her feel like a goddess. Yeah, she could be saying that lightly, but if a female were to be saying it lightly, they'd use, it seems like to me, after watching enough gym haul videos, it seems like they'd use the words flattering and stunning. But if they really like it, they'll call it sexy, like fabulous. You can tell what they really are saying by their tone of delivery, not the words that are actually coming out of their mouth, out of their mouths. That makes it sound a bit harsh, and I apologize if I sound that way, but that's just how I'm thinking of it at the moment. I really don't mean to say it like that, like harshly or aggressively rather. I don't mean to, but that's just that's just how it's come out, and I need to keep moving, so I'm not going to reword it, even though ideally I would, to make it seem a lot less blunt and more pleasant. But anyway, let's keep going. Need to keep going, otherwise I'll just stay looping on that. Yeah, made quite a bit of progress, quite a bit, and I think my weightlifting future is very bright due to recording videos. Just like how I've progressed with the calisthenics, I'll also significantly progress with the weightlifting, because I'm recording every time I'm going to train from now on, even with weights. Yes, even with weights. But this is just meant to be a review. So for now, that'll be it, and then I'll put timestamps, so if there are people that are just wanting to get straight to the exercise footage, then that'll be that. But for now, yeah, I've made solid progress, and my future's bright, especially my weightlifting future, because I'm now starting to record my sessions. But for now, I'll let the exercise footage play. I will see you in the next one. One thing I forgot to mention is that, before going to the next clip, is that ideally I warm up, then do the main exercises, then cool down, just for reference. Because if not, I could be increasing my chances of getting injured. Also, with the squats, I'm trying to really make my back straight, but I'm not sure if I'm actually doing that. I may be using my spine quite a bit instead of only my glutes, quads and hamstrings, and maybe even my calves too. But that's just something to think about when I go into the next sessions. I really want to warm up, then do the main sessions, and then cool down, and do them productively, like really work towards doing more sets and reps with heavier weights. But yeah, okay, now let's get on with the main part of the video.